After telling my entire story of abuse to the FBI in the summer of 2015, not only did the FBI not report my abuse, but when they eventually documented my report 17 months later, they made entirely false claims about what I said. They chose to lie about what I said and protect a serial child molester rather than protect not only me, but countless others.
What's going on, everybody? Jayar Jackson. Today I want to talk about a bit of a slight conclusion that's come to the whole U.S. gymnastics sexual assault case that have been going on for years. So today, the organizations that are in charge of U.S. gymnastics are agreeing to pay $380 million to hundreds of victims of Larry Nassar, who's the now deceased child rapist who was posing as the team physician at the time. So the Wall Street Journal does say that this is the largest payout ever for sexual abuse victims. And I think that speaks to just how far and wide this whole abuse thing went, and just how disgustingly far the cover-up was. From the U.S. gymnastics to the team physician, of course, himself, and also the FBI. This is what really sucks about this. It's horrible. So the settlement is going to include people that we've heard of many times: Simone Biles, Ali Reisman, and McKayla Maroney. And specifically, McKayla Maroney, she testified just a couple months ago this year in front of Congress about the abuses that happened and also about the cover-up that happened there.
I then told the FBI about Tokyo, the day he gave me a sleeping pill for the plane ride, to then work on me later that night. That evening, I was naked, completely alone, with him on top of me, molesting me for hours. I told them I thought I was going to die that night because there was no way that he would let me go. But he did. I told them I walked the halls of Tokyo Hotel at 2 a.m. at only 15 years old. I began crying at the memory over the phone, and there was just dead silence. I was so shocked at the agent's silence and disregard for my trauma. After that minute of silence, he asked, "Is that all?" Those words in itself was one of the worst moments of this entire process for me. To have my abuse be minimized and disregarded by the people who were supposed to protect me, just to feel like my abuse was not enough. But the truth is, my abuse was enough, and they wanted to cover it up. USA Gymnastics, in concert with the FBI and the Olympic Committee, were working together to conceal that Larry Nassar was a predator.
Don't forget, though, McKayla Maroney was the gymnast that when they were at the award ceremony and she didn't get the gold, arms were crossed and looked to the side, obviously disappointed. That turned into memes, it turned into ridicule, it turned into accusations that she wasn't a good sport. It was across the board. People loved it, people hated it. But I want you to imagine, at that type of stage you're on, you're still a teenager, late teens at that point, and this is the attention you're getting. The attention about whether or not you made the right face when you're on the award ceremony, whether or not you said the right thing. And actually, post-gymnast days, her activity online, so her social media, talking about whether or not she's gotten plastic surgery done, talking about what kinds of posts she has and the types of things she's saying and what type of pictures she's taking. All these things were what she was getting attention about. But when she's screaming from the rooftops about someone assaulting her since she was a teenager, crickets. No one talks about that, but because that's not sensational enough. Or maybe we're actually looking to uncover some of the worst in our society, people like Larry Nassar, but instead we're ready to criticize people like McKayla Maroney. We're ready to criticize people like Simone Biles. If you don't remember, just in this last Olympics, Simone Biles, who was also a victim of Larry Nassar, she was getting the twisties, as they later pointed out. But originally, she pulled out from the team all-around final and also the individual all-around final because she needed some mental health breaks. That was also ridiculed. That was condemned. That was told she's not a great American. I can't believe she's not standing up for us. I can't believe she's not representing us well on the international stage. Look at all of this ridicule that comes their way. But when they get in front of Congress and talk about the things that were done to them since an early age, along with hundreds, as we mentioned, hundreds of others, nobody has anything to say. Or if we talk about it, we talk about it for about a day. How much longer were we talking about McKayla Maroney and her look on her face? Or McKayla Maroney's social media presence? Or Simone Biles and how she's not a good gymnast when she was amazing? These are the things we talk about. But think about the headspace many of these gymnasts were in. They get out there and compete on a huge stage against other amazing gymnasts while they're being assaulted before and after competition by this same guy. And when some of them actually have the opportunity and ability to tell people about it, We get nothing in return. We get their frustration, we get cover-ups, we get years of silence from the authorities to even talk about what was going on. So when are these things gonna change in our society? Look, we've got other pro athletes in basketball, football, anything else you can think of. And when they're in front of a press conference, when they're getting criticized, when they're on social media, I think of Kevin Durant immediately, when he had a burner account because so many people were coming after him. When those types of things happen, it's a bit of a discussion, but we also let them off the hook and we understand what it is they're going through, which I agree with. What is it different about these athletes? Why is it that they're the ones that are looked at for how they look, how they didn't make the right faces? Well, think about what they were going through as all this was going on. Oh my God, I can't believe she's talking about mental health. Are we going to talk about what caused maybe some of this trauma, some of this PTSD that they experienced to go through? No, we're going to throw $380 million at them, at hundreds of them. And I don't know, we're going to dust our hands of the situation now, or we're going to do something next about how we approach these problems in our society, how we approach whether or not we're going to stop this from happening, or when someone is uncovered for who they are, that we do something then about it. Or if someone drops their 15-year-old kid off because they're a world-class athlete, that they know that they're going to be protected and their life is not going to potentially be ruined because of one guy that for some reason you had to protect your entire organization over protecting his abuse and child pornography and honestly rape of children. It's disgusting. And until our society changes, there'll be more and more Larry Nassars, and there'll be more and more $400 million lawsuits and payouts from the people who covered it up.